Welcome back, you lovely soul, to the Glow and Grow podcast with Kiana van Deurse, your host. This podcast is currently going through a little switch up, and from Glow and Grow, we are very soon transitioning to a new name, which will also be announced most likely in the following episode. However, this space is where we return to our bodies, to our sensuality and our feminine fire, and also tell the truth about what it actually means to live in a woman's body. Today's episode is going to be raw. It's going to be tender. And honestly, it's the most human that I've felt in a long time. So the last couple of days hit me harder than I personally want to admit. And if you follow me on Instagram, you already know about the situation with my cats. It absolutely drove me nuts. It was the hardest that I ever went to, and especially what it did to me emotionally. I can't even sugarcoat it because I got hurt on a level that felt deeper than any heartbreak. I'm usually the girl who doesn't get sick, I don't get run down, I don't really collapse because I really take very good care of myself. I mean, that's always what I've been doing with your road to healthy habits, and I've always been practicing as I preach. I move, I dance, I regulate. I pour into my body like she's my home because she really, really is. And self prioritization is what I'm really, really heavy on. But this time, when I felt helpless, something in me shifted. I had to go into autopilot like never before. And that instinctual get things done, hold it together, make decisions, energy that women know way too well. But then after it all was over, and when I finally slowed down, my body became so rebellious. She started to speak a lot louder than my mind. And she wasn't even whispering. She was screaming at me. She was screaming for help. And there was nothing that I could have done to avoid listening to what she was saying. Migraines, very, very tight hips, a body that even felt sore without working out, tension sitting in places I didn't even know could tighten, and a nervous system that felt like static. I felt emotionless at some point. I felt really scared because I somehow felt so numb, and that is a feeling that I absolutely do not want to experience because this life is for me all about intensity. And here's the truth: when you're a woman and you carry emotional shock, grief, fear, and responsibility, your body starts to process it long before your mind catches even up. So, this is where I bring you into something I talk about all the time, into the embodiment and the being in your feminine flow. Trauma lives in your hips, not metaphorically, not poetically, but literally. Your hips are connected to your sacral chakra, your sexuality, your creativity, your emotional memory, your primal instincts. And we store everything there. We women, we really, really do. So we store fear, we store resentment, shame, stress, loss, grief. Whatever feelings they are being stored in your hips. And after these last few days, my hips were exhausted. They feel like they were holding onto a story that I even hadn't processed yet. And it really hurts, to be fair. I'm still super stiff, and it feels like I've been working out nonstop, doing squats and doing wall balls for a long, long time, but that's not the case. And this is also when I realized this is why movement matters. This is why sensuality matters. And this is why feminine embodiment matters. That's where the connection to your body matters so much, that you know what she's saying when she's actually speaking to you. And your body definitely keeps a score. And she also cannot be ignored because as soon as you start ignoring it, your body will put you down yourself. So once I saw what was happening, I did what I always preach. I came back home to my body. I started dancing again, obviously not during the whole process because for me, as I said, I was totally on autopilot. And only after I got off of autopilot, my body started to scream. Because obviously, there's also a survival mechanism where the body just does what it needs to do in order to survive. So I came back to dancing, I came back to shaking, to slow circles, to grounding myself, and to letting my hips do the talking because I personally didn't really have any words left. And you know what? It started to help me instantly. Not because movement fixes you, but because movement frees you. It frees you from being stuck in your head and it frees you from the emptiness inside. And when a woman starts moving her hips, she also reorganizes her nervous system. She releases emotional residue, she reconnects to her life force energy, and she also returns to her sensual truth. Because movement is medicine, sensuality is healing, and sexual liberation is a pathway back to yourself. So, using your body to hold you when the world feels too heavy. And I'm so grateful for the fact that my body actually did that, for the fact that my body went on autopilot and then got my cats back and basically fought through the whole situation. But it only did that because it knew how to go on autopilot. And I now have to live with the consequences that I'm obviously, well, working through now. And I'm also needing some time to get back to my body, to get back to that, yeah, self, to get back to my usual routines where I really take proper care of myself and where movement is such a key of my, well, of my day. So yeah, the last few days hurt worse than any heartbreak, worse than any breakup I've ever lived through, and trust me, they've been painful. But they also reminded me of something that I will never stop teaching. Our body is not fragile. She is simply expressive. Our body speaks and she remembers, she protects, and she releases. And that's why I always say that when you let her move, you also let her heal. Our bodies were not made to just lay down all day on the couch. Our bodies were made to move, to go into our flow state, to actually be and to enjoy this life to the fullest at an intensity that feels comfortable for you. So, as I said, when you let her move, you also let her heal. And if you're here with me, and if you're listening to this on this ram on this podcast now, and if something inside you feels like this too, that you feel a little stuck and that you feel like you want to start moving again, well, then welcome to my podcast and welcome to listening to me because your body has never been the problem. Your body is your portal. Also, sensuality isn't the extra, it's the access point, and that is exactly what we will be handling in the untamed feminine. The untamed feminine. This is, I think, the first time I speak out the name of my new brand, and I also don't think I've ever announced it, except for the people closest to me. But yeah, in the untamed feminine, your body is not the problem. Your body is your portal. And sexuality and sensuality will never be extra. They will be your access point to the intensity of life that you feel comfortable with. And it's also the point where you get to remember the woman you were before the world told you who to be. So yeah, well, thank you for being here with me today, love. And if this is something that you're going through, just remember to let your body move, or also feel free to reach out to me. When you start letting your body move in a way that she wants to rather than controlled, she always knows the way home, and you will find a way to get back home to yourself. And until next time, stay untamed, stay soft, and stay sovereign. And never apologize for being the woman your body remembers you are. Always be your unapologetic self. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening to this first episode of the second season of the Glow and Grow podcast that is now transforming to the untamed feminine. I'll talk to you soon, superstar. And until then, stay your unapologetic self. Adios.